It's time to start Dishin Days with your hosts, Tony Moore, Michael Mattis, Justin Lee Hareld, and Araceli Aviles. And now, let's dish. Why, hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we're serving up a full dish of this week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera. If you haven't already, make sure you like us and follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook and Dishin Days on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. Also, make sure if you haven't, and you should have, hit our subscribe button and subscribe to our YouTube channel, which you can find Dishin Days. We've made everything very simple. So if you're watching us live now, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. That way you'll never miss when we go live and in living color for you. Also, if you can't watch us, listen to us. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. I just want to give a shout out to Justin's best friend who was listening to us on her way home and tagged us and her. And we appreciate that. And I was like, people really do listen to us in the car on the ride home. So what's her name?
Alicia.
Mm-hmm.
Alicia.
And happy birthday. It was a birthday.
Yay!
So shout out to Alicia for listening to us in the car, and shout out to your birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Yes.
So if you want to listen to us too, check us out. Dishin Days on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, wherever podcasts can be found. Also, make sure you buy some merch. You can check out one of these lovely logos. We got the Mellis Win Possessed Dishin Days logo serving up a full dish so that you can show everybody that you are a true listener of the Dishin of the Days. Make sure you go to dishindays.threadlets.com and get your merch today. And of course, we want to give a shout out to our former co-host and my chocolate twin, James Lott Jr., who was doing all things soaps on his digital network, JLJ Media. So make sure you log on and check out his original audio dramas, as well as recaps and interviews from General Hospital, Bold and the Beautiful, and Young and the Restless. So go support James Lott Jr. and tell him that the kind folks at Dishin Days sent you. That's JLJ Media on YouTube and podcasts. Because James Lott Jr. is the only person that I know who took count on Noah's Ark. He's going to love that one. He's going to love that one. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, coming up in just a few weeks, we will be celebrating our ninth anniversary of Dishin Days. And as a special deal for you all and our fans and people watching live, if you email us during our live podcast, or even if you watch it later, you can purchase a ticket for only $10. So make sure you email us dishindays@gmail.com. We'll send you details and you can get your ticket to our virtual celebration. What did I say?
Happy.
You can get details for our virtual celebration and get tickets for only $10. The deal will end on Monday, January 29th at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So go ahead, email us, and make sure you send in your payment before 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. And that way you'll only get it for $10 rather than $15. So it's a special deal. Yeah, I think it's a good deal. So make sure you come celebrate us. It's going to be a virtual happy hour, so bring a mimosa, bring a cocktail, mocktail. You'll have a chance to get to know us through a Q&A. We'll play a game, and we have some very special giveaways for you. So don't miss this opportunity. This special $10 deal ends tomorrow, January 29th, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You must have your payment in by that time. For details, dishindays@gmail.com. And that's it. What do we think of this week's episode of Days?
I liked them. I feel like we got
a solid week.
Yeah. Got a little bit of everything.
Yeah. I already know what I'm most excited about, and it's so girly, so.
Okay.
It's so girly.
I'm a girl. I gotta represent my super or uber. I know I come off as like she's very mature. She's very well-rounded, but I have so much. I have so much to say. Where I'm just going to say, I am right.
You are white.
I am right.
Oh, right.
I am right. There's not.
I thought you said I am white, and I was like,
No, I am. Oh,
okay.
I'm 100% not white. I am right very much of the time.
Now
And
hold
there are
on.
certain there are certain topics that I will like, okay, that's you do you, and that's your opinion. And then there are some things I are like, I am right.
But according to you, you're that 100% of the time.
I didn't say 100% of the time.
Did she say she was always right?
Most of the time.
Araceli came to play. Okay.
Well, we're gonna see how well she's gonna play this episode. Michael, did you say what you thought?
Did I say wait? I said it was a solid week. Is what I said.
Oh,
That's all I said.
I thought it was cute. It's a cute week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling that this is going to be a very interesting episode, so I don't want to hold back. I want to keep this momentum going. So it's now time for our favorite part of the show, where we try to say Dishin Days all at the same time. It is now time to start.
Dishin
Days. Oh, yay, we did so well. I think we're getting better at this. Even though it took about 3 years, it's all good. All right, so
we'll record it.
One day. Oh, yeah, I should make a note of that. All right, so let's kick things off with our top storyline, which is From F-Boy to Feelings. We are talking about good old Alex and Teresa and the Bradys and all that kind of stuff. First of all, for the past few months, I feel like the theme of Days has been magical penis. And I feel like now that Dimitri has left, I guess he, unbeknownst to Alex, passed the torch, who was able to use his to convince Teresa to stay in town and not leave for LA. All it took was a good talk and a whole lot of loving.
Was that real?
What?
Yes.
I couldn't tell if that was a setup by Teresa to get him to commit to her or to like get him to commit more because
no,
she
I didn't think so.
She had just had a relapse.
No, that was
Part of me thought it was a plan.
I
didn't think it was that way, but I mean, it could have been. It would be very Teresa-esque to do that.
Just because I thought she's coming off of not looking bad, but in his eyes of like just having a relapse. So, who knows if he was teetering on if this relationship was going to work. And then here she comes with, I'm leaving. And now he has to fight for her.
Oh, yeah, little faith.
Yeah, I feel like it was legit. I feel like she feels guilty I feel like her guilt is legitimate. Think her guilt for, relapsing, even though, we don't know, like there's suspicion that it was forced on her and that she didn't do it voluntarily, but she still feels guilty about it. Then there's guilt about what she's actually doing to Alex. And I think it tracked accurately for her to just be like, I need to leave. I need to run away. Like, the fight or flight kicked in and she wanted to fly until Alex came in, took off his, sweatshirt.
That'll do it.
And bow chicka bow wow. And then they made love. They made love.
That means was like, funky.
God. I was like,
that's what I was thinking. I was like, could we have cut that line or said something like, let's go take a shower?
Yeah. Like you've been running all through Hortontown Square and all through Salem, and then you're gonna come back and I need you to get in the shower.
Some people like that. like the
You're
the
gonna
must.
say that.
Mm-mm. No, thank you. But I think you're right. Like with everything that's happening, and I feel like she did just want to rid herself of any like possibility of relapsing again. So she was going to head back to LA, just so she can also be well for Tate
Mhm.
in a month. I really thought she was going to go through with it. And
Yeah.
then I also feel like she's now also really battling like what she did,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
because I think
And
it's
it's affecting how she feels about herself. Except
yes,
she's not enough to actually admit it. But
Oh no.
she's getting close though.
No. The guilt before was more of she didn't want to get caught. And like she said, it was, she wasn't over Brady at the time.
Mhm.
But this is more now I've really fallen for him and I realized just how badly I've screwed up his life and what horrible corner I painted myself in.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear that she's over Brady, which
Mhm.
I said last week. I didn't not okay. She'll never be over Brady. I don't think 100%. They do share a child together. They do share a bond together. Even beyond that, like Alex said, with shared addiction and history and things like that. But it seems like she's in a different place now where she really can look at Brady as a friend and she really doesn't want to lose Alex.
I have to say that whole conversation with Kayla really did not go how I thought it would. I thought it was leading to I thought she was going to confess to Kayla that she was having feelings for Brady, and that was going to be the conflict. I had no idea that she was going to sort of stand tall in this. The kiss with Brady meant nothing. It was about the drugs, which I didn't really think it was about the drugs, but whatever. This is where they're going with it. And that she's cemented in loving Alex fully. I was kind of like, oh, okay, that's not where I thought this was going at all. But I guess she's telling the truth, and the Brady kiss was just a random kiss. That's where we're going with this.
Justin, your tone is very, if you like it, I love it. That's how
And
it's
open
like,
arms.
right. It's like I guess this is where we're going
Yeah.
with it. I mean, if you like it, I love it.
Yeah.
And for reference,
Like
let's assess the scoreboard for storylines today. Araceli 1, Justin 0.
I didn't realize there was a scoreboard.
Apparently.
What did you give yourself a point for?
I was right. I said
About-
last week Justin was poo-pooing the idea that that kiss that Teresa gave Brady was just an impulse from a recovering addict who is not feeling well.
Girl, take that score down from that board. Teresa is still in love with Brady, no matter what she said. You know that Teresa is still in love with Brady.
She can still have feelings for him, but that's not. I'm saying that specifically was not a romantic kiss. That was not a I'm gonna make a move and see what happens kiss. That was a move of desperation from an unwell woman.
She's unwell.
If you like it, I love it. I'm going to stick with my guns that she still has feelings for Brady. Now, maybe they're not as strong, but if Brady walked in that room and said, Teresa, I want you, do you think she's going to be like, ew, no, Brady, we just simply share a child. My heart and soul and mind belongs to Alex.
Yeah.
You know good and well she's going to be like, okay.
Yep.
Yes, but the question last week was not about how she overall feels. The question last week was what was the kiss about? Was the kiss, but that kiss specifically?
That kiss was about her specifically. Still, okay. Nobody is just like, what comfort do you if you need comfort, get a hug or a handshake or a pat on the back. You don't look up at somebody and seek out some sort of comfort through a kiss.
Tony, you are going against 50, 60, 70 years of soap trope in what you just said, where Everybody who needs comfort ends up in bed together.
Just need a little bang.
Bam.
A hug and hug's not gonna do it.
Okay, but then that just proves the point that she still has feelings for Brady.
No,
And that was the kiss was.
I don't think Teresa knows who she has feelings for. I think she is so messed up that she is just going by the minute and like doing what she wants to do in the moment without completely exploring the feelings behind it. That's what she's doing. Now, whether her true feelings lie with Alex or Brady, I don't even think she knows.
I will 100% agree with that.
Well, let me find out what everybody else likes. And I'm going to turn this into a poll. And I'm going to ask the peoples if
Colleen, you're so
they
right.
feel like, what was that?
Oh, yeah. And Alex in that therapy session, I'm like,
Yeah.
you are not this, like, if you're that clueless, then it's kind of scary. Like,
Yeah.
you are not a freaking teenager. You're a 30-something-year-old man. Like, I just kind of
First of
rolled my
all-
eyes at the whole therapy
Marriage is not the be-all end-all answer to
know, right?
everything. Please.
That and having kids.
Yes. No, these are life-changing decisions that are not they are not solutions to anything. They are, and now we have to fix our taxes and deal with government and deal with increased wages.
I just feel like in the therapy session, number one, I was like, "Are you scheduled?" Because you just showed up. Two, I was then like, "You're divulging a lot of information. Like, how you just gonna sit there and tell Dr. Marlena Evans' Black Robe Show that you just had sexual relations with Teresa? Like, I think that's a little TMI. She need to know that.
Hello,
But
Even she, there was a moment where she was like, I can't remember what he said.
when he
Yeah.
She kind of was just
asked
like, I don't need to hear
if
this.
he should marry if he should ask Teresa to marry her, and she just reacted. She
She was like, bitch,
very
no.
she
it was very that.
unlike Marlena Evans, where she caught herself and had to pull herself back.
Well, and it's also just because you discover your feelings, that maybe you've grown from really liking a person to possibly loving a person. That doesn't mean that like you need to put a ring on it.
Mhm.
Nope.
Justin, what do you think?
I was gonna say also, like, are we supposed to pretend like people don't know they're together? I didn't understand that scene when he was like explaining it to Marlene as if like she was out of town or something. Like, wouldn't she know that they're together? Like,
Marlena ain't worried about them.
She
but
hasn't
especially with the
seen it for
Tate
a
stuff,
while.
especially with the Tate stuff going on. Like, I mean, he was there during that whole thing. She was there during some of it. Like, why? I don't know. It just seemed weird that he was explaining of like, oh, you know Teresa, like she doesn't know that you two are together. I don't know. It just seemed weird where he was like, yeah, me and Teresa had sex, and it was like, okay, like you're in a relationship. Why would that be newsworthy? I don't know. It didn't make sense to me why he was explaining their whole relationship as if like they got together 2 days ago. They've been together for a couple of months now, at least.
A few months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, maybe she's just like, number one, I'm not concerned. Number two, I don't know. Number three, I don't care. Like, she's like, she's not like Lady Whistleblower and being like,
Tell me more.
Teresa
Tell me
and
more.
Alex are together, right?
Yeah.
Done shacked up last night after he went running. Like, no one's doing that. So I mean, maybe, but yeah, it's too soon for a committed relationship between Teresa and Alex, and especially now.
For either of them with anybody, really. Like,
Yeah, it's like, just have fun. Y'all moved in very quickly. Like, you literally had a rendezvous in Greece, and all of a sudden you're like, just move in here. Why?
That's the problem. Is they're already living together. Like, how do you have a casual relationship
roommates with
with
benefits.
someone yeah, exactly. Like,
that was what she kind of was like, okay.
yeah,
Like,
you're
did you
already
know
living
that?
together.
Or, yeah.
Yeah. Well, can we
It's
please
just
talk
red
about
flags all over the place with those two.
say what?
It's just red flags all over the place with those two.
Yeah,
Until Teresa comes clean about the big lie, which probably isn't going to happen for a while. Like, she's not going to be okay.
Yeah, I just, I mean, I understand, I guess why she did it was because it would be easier to seduce Alex and end up being rich, but I'm still just like, why? It just isn't making, I don't know. Well, what was this? Oh, Kristen and Brady and Rachel.
I
No, they're not together, and I like it like that. I was like, who is this adult child that's sitting here eating this ice cream?
That one
Mhm.
that finally gets it in whatever she's gone through. Yeah, bravo. Because I think we love Rachel, but I think I think we've had enough of the Rachel. I will scheme to get my parents together. I think that ship has sailed.
Jason was said that girl is over it, and we are too. I think we felt everything that Rachel was saying. She was like, "I'm cool with just how things are. Like this is fine. Like my parents are a mess, honey, and I just don't. I don't need all that energy going into 2024. Like I'm cool with staying with my mama and then going over to see my daddy from time to time, have me some ice cream, go see a movie. But like, I'm not wishing for them to be together. I don't need that in my spirit right now. I'm
Yeah.
trying to color.
Okay, I still didn't understand Brady's position. Like I understand like you don't want your kid jaded, I guess, but it seemed like he took that personally of like you
Mhm.
don't want us together, and it was like, well, you don't
You're
want
you're poisoning her against me. It's
You've
like
been saying that. You've been trying to get that message across to her for a while now so that she understands it as a child. So why I don't know.
I think it's because as a child, there are only certain things you need to know about grown folks' business. And I think Rachel knows a little too much about grown folks' business. And I think it's because Kristen talks to her like that's your friend. And as Mama Moore told me many a times as I was growing up, and I quote, I'm not one of your little friends.
Facts.
Actually, there was a poll recently about if parents should be best friends with their kids.
Oh yeah.
Why is this a poll? Okay, I'm gonna shut this down right now. There is
She going for two.
No, I'm gonna shut this down right now, and I'm not even gonna. I'm not taking credit for this. I'm gonna take credit. There's a mom influencer on social media. Go check her out. You can find her YouTube channel, Christina Kuzmich, with the last name MIC, Kuzmich. I think it is. Anyways, she has a very, very famous it's an old video. She has present content, but it's an old video about why you should not be friends with your kids. I clicked onto this because she was pouring her wine in her ice cream. And then I agreed with everything she was saying as she was pouring her wine in her ice cream about why you should never, ever be friends with your kids. And basically the whole thing is like, I want to be able to have a good relationship with a grown-ass adult someday in the future. I don't want to have to be parenting this little person for the rest of my life. I want to raise this little human to be a grown-ass human being who can take care of themselves, who I might actually, from time to time, want to spend time with in a casual setting one day. Not say, when the hell are you getting out of my house?
Bravo. We still want to know.
That was the gist of it.
I think this. I think that as a parent, it is an obligation and job to ensure that you are raising a good human for this world, right? And with that, you can't be their friend because therefore they don't have any sort of fear. Not not like the scary fear, but like just
Healthy.
that fear,
Yeah.
that healthy fear that lets you know that, hey, like I'm not one to play with. I'm authority here, and what I say is
that's
going to
authority.
go.
Yeah.
You don't get to mouth back to me because we're friends or because and it's that relationship that's authoritative enough but comfortable enough to where
Mhm.
as a kid, you do feel comfortable going to your parents and talking
Trust.
about certain
Yeah,
things
trust.
and trust and things like that, but you still respect them as your parent. Now, when you get older,
Mhm.
then you and your parents can sit around at the table, have a glass of wine and kiki and laugh and all this kind of stuff,
Mhm.
because now you've done what you can for this person. This person is now an adult making their own decisions. And so now you can still be the parent, but build a friendship with them. So no, I don't think right off the bat you should be friends with your kids, because then your kids don't respect you as an authoritative figure.
Mhm.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the problem with this generation now, is that
Oh.
all the parents are doing gentle parenting, and
Oh hell no.
I'm friends with my child. And now when you go out into this world, people who have you know who are older or authoritative figures, they don't respect, because
Right.
they haven't been taught that. So now they're running amok.
I
Oh.
like the I let my child make their own decisions, and if they make a bad one, they'll figure it out themselves.
Uh-uh.
Nope. Nope. If you know it's a bad decision, you need to tell them this is a bad decision. You ain't doing
This is a
it.
bad decision. But also, as a parent, you know when your child is about to make a bad decision. And
Mhm.
sometimes you're like, okay, but you know that you're going to be there for them to say, now here's the lesson that you need to learn from this. And if you don't learn it, you're going to end up in jail.
Yeah, child says, "Well, if I'm not going to follow your rules, I'm just going to run away." Oh, okay, yeah, let's do that. What are you going to do for money? Where are you going to go?
It's look, it wasn't even that. I think I never threatened to run away, but I feel like my mom, if I did, probably would have said, okay, well, let me help you pack your bag. And you go figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
You go figure out where you're gonna sleep. You go figure out how you're gonna eat. You go figure out how you have electricity. You go figure all that out. And you ask me if you now want to run away. Go ahead, go. When a parent does that, they're like, I dare you. Because I'm gonna tell you, once you leave these walls, it ain't gonna be easy.
Well, yeah, and then once you have the permission to do that, then it takes the whole, it kind of pops the air out of it's like, oh well, now they're telling me to do it, so
Yeah,
now I don't want to do it.
and I
Yeah.
will say similar rules hold for aunts and uncles, because you can see both sides. You can know when mom and daddy are just being a little bit crazy, but you never let the kid figure out that you know that.
Mm-hmm.
You never say that. You never undermine the parents.
Mm-mm.
You say,
Mm-mm.
okay, I see what you're trying to say, and I hear you, and I respect your feelings. And that's as far as you're going to take it, because you don't undermine someone else's parenting.
No. But then you also realize that you eventually become your parents. I have
Yeah.
realized that recently.
Yeah.
I now
Now,
I now have a 19-year-old niece.
uh-huh.
And whenever she tells me something, I'm like, I know now exactly what my parents felt when we would tell them something and it'll be a lie. And they're like, oh, okay. And we think,
Mhm.
oh, got away with it. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. And they know exactly what's about to go down. And they know exactly what, because as my mom would say, I know my children. And
Mhm.
so the second it goes awry, they just sit there and like,
I will.
so now do you really want to tell me what happened? Because I'll tell you
Yeah.
if you want me to.
Another reason you never be friends with your kids. There's still a line even when they are adults. My cousin did share something with her nieces that she probably shouldn't have, and it got back to grandma and grandpa.
Mhm.
And it did not matter that mom was grown by that point.
No, listen,
It
I still barely cuss in front of my mom. Even when I'm
no,
here,
there
I'm
are
like, oh,
yeah,
probably should
there's
have
a
said that.
friendly thing, but there's still like there's some things no, you don't tell. Like
But
let's just keep that in the vault.
all that to say, little Miss Rachel knows too much,
Yeah,
which is
she
why
was
she is so sassy.
She knows too much from both of them. It's like Brady still doesn't get it. Just because Kristen is, in his eyes, a bad parent for spoiling her child, and yes, that's gonna come up to rear its ugly head. Don't get me wrong, it already has. And it's going to get worse. That doesn't make you, by going in the completely opposite direction, the good parent in comparison.
No, I think what it is, and I think we have seen this throughout. Kristen and Brady are very different parents. Brady, I think, really, I don't want to say sugarcoats, but actually talks to Rachel like a kid. And it's like when he was explaining why he didn't meet last time, it was like Tate got into some trouble, and it's all handled now, but I would never miss that. Now cut to Kristen telling her this, and Kristen was sitting there with the glass like, yeah girl, Tate in jail. And Holly done overdose back there in the behind the bistro on the yes, Rachel sure did. That's like, I feel like that's the difference in parenting, where I feel like Kristen is kind of portrayed as, I want to be friends with Rachel. I want to be the cool mom. Where Brady is still like, I have to give some sort of explanation because she's not a dumb kid. She's very aware, but I still need to be protective of what she knows and not give her too much, but also just make sure she understands what's happening.
Yes, but maybe lean into it a little bit more, because while she is still child, she does not have the mentality of a child in certain sense. There are some ways that she is very mature, and you can protect them but still give them a little bit more. It's okay to give them a little bit more. I would even argue it's okay to start having talks with Rachel about, about drugs and alcohol and things like that. I know people say, oh, you're not supposed to start young. It's like, no, start young. Let them know that there are bad things in the world that can hurt them.
But there's still a way that you relay that information to a 10-year-old versus like a 15-year-old.
No, exactly. But don't outright just not say it.
I know, but it's still very like, there's still a way of giving that information depending on the age. I think.
No, I agree. Yeah, it's it's individualized.
Yeah. Well, there was that. I hope she enjoyed Wonka, because that's what they went to go see.
Okay, did the randomness, before we get off this topic, the randomness of Leo just walking in and acting like the fun uncle, giving all his recommendations.
Yeah.
I felt like
the kid whisperer.
This reminded me of I think I mentioned this on the show before, back in the day when they used to do those random like product placement commercials. This very much felt like, this is a product placement for Peacock.
It was all the
watch
Peacock movies.
How to Train Your Dragon, or what was the other movie he mentioned?
It was the How to Train Your Dragon series and Wonka.
And
no, there was something else.
There was something else.
There was something else. Yeah, there was a third movie. I
forget. I feel like that's all coming to Peacock.
Yeah.
And you know what? You're probably right, because because they taped so far ahead, they had to know when those movies were all going to be
obviously
available on the air date, on the day it aired. So yeah, it maybe was a little bit of Peacock not interference, but hey, how can we plug this shit in our show?
It's all Peacock or Universal, because they're all the same conglomerate. So Wonka's Universal, so it's all the same. Yeah.
And I don't mind,
They didn't mention Barbie, and Barbie was the biggest movie of the effing year.
But I think
that has nothing to do with Peacock. So
that's
well, that's what I'm saying. That's
exactly.
Being a Peacock thing.
Yeah.
That they didn't mention the biggest freaking movie that a little girl would probably want to see.
Exactly.
Right.
Guys, there's candy in it. There's very little you have to do to promote something that has candy in it. I'm just saying.
What are we talking about?
I
No
don't
idea.
know.
I'm so
Let's-
confused.
Let's move
We've gone
on,
this
please.
way. We've gone this way.
We did a TED talk about parenting. We're
Such a
talking.
weird opening.
It's all it's all in relation, and then Araceli, keeping score, will say, "Hold on, guys," and then we're at the edge of our seat, and then she'll say, "It's not that hard to promote a movie about candy," and then we're like, "Okay, well, all right, well, now that you got that off your chest, we can keep going." I in the midst of all this, I did look up to see if How to Train Your Dragon was on Peacock, and it is.
Mhm.
There you go.
I wonder if anyone actually was like, "Oh, How to Train Your Dragon. I should watch that."
Maybe.
It's a good
I
one.
wasn't with anything. Granted,
I
I had to
wish-
finish watching the episodes, but
I wish they would have said, well, no, they couldn't recommend Traders to little Rachel, although might as well at this point.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
you know
could work
that
that
he
in
would.
there.
That's what I'm watching on Peacock.
If anything, I would absolutely think that's right up her alley.
Yeah, right.
I mean, at
So
this
up
point,
her alley.
everything that's happening in Salem happens on Traders.
Mm-hmm.
And no, we don't get any sort of money or anything for that little plug or ad. We are just fans with open arms.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, now that we have, Jason, I think it's Jose, says he loves
Mhm.
Traders. If you love Traders, make sure you go to my Instagram at Lounging with Tony. I'm doing a whole commentary on each episode. Yep. I'm gonna plug myself sometimes because I forget to do it. Let's go on to some other stunt shows and shenanigans. Over at the Spectator, shenanigans and a busted bistro. I love the fact that Everett wanted to keep the integrity of the Spectator
Mm-hmm.
and looked at
for
Chad
some
and-
reason it bugged me. I was like, "Shut up! Let Chad do what he wants." I don't know why I was so like I got kind of like
No.
annoyed with him, even though he does have good points and like it is compromising or muddling the integrity of the paper. I just like I was like, why are you being such a bitch about it?
Because
I don't know
it's
why though, but I was
Yeah.
just like I wasn't on his side of that argument. I was on Chad's side for whatever reason.
because
Really?
imagine Michael
Yeah.
Mattis. Imagine
Mhm.
if a police car chase happened and it went through your neighborhood and hit your building, and the landlord
Mhm.
said, "Don't mention the building." But that's what
Don't
happened.
mention that's I mean, how are you gonna report a car running into a building without reporting on the building?
How you gonna report an overdose that happened at the Dogs of the Bistro without reporting on an overdose that happened at the Dock of the Bistro?
I don't care. I just wasn't on Everett's side, and I thought he was being a
He's
little bitch about
determined.
it.
Michael Mattis is determined to not like Everett. He thinks he's completely
I
shady.
don't,
and
and that's the problem.
terrible.
It's personal feelings about a
Yes.
character.
I mean,
I
listen,
said he had points, and he was doing what you guys were saying. He was muddling. It would be muddling the integrity of the paper. I still wasn't on his side of that argument, though.
I'm surprised. I thought Chad.
not the crack of the knuckles, but Michael Mattis 1, everybody else 0.
I thought Chad's position was going to be a little bit more even balanced, but the fact that he killed the whole story, I thought he was going to go back and say, okay, make sure we put in the fact that they didn't find anything during the raid and that,
Mhm.
Ava and Stefan declare innocence, even though they're guilty as hell, they declare innocence. And that's where I felt like he could have kept his credibility and been a little bit more fair. But the fact that he came in and was like, we're killing the whole story, that was crazy. And why is he in charge now? When did he magically become in charge?
They're
Once
equal
it was
partners.
revealed that he bought the Spectator, I think that's when he just kind of moseyed on in.
There seems to be,
Yeah.
I mean, there seemed to be an agreement with between Chad and Xander that while they co-own the paper, Chad is going over on the day-to-day stuff, and Xander covers the books, and that seems to be working out. And at least that seems to be what has been worked. It seems like what has been worked out between them, and Xander made a point to mention to Chad that yes, this is what we're doing right now, but when it comes to but there are still things that you have to keep me updated on. Like if you're gonna do something, if you're gonna pull $5,000 for a story, that's a big chunk of change. You need to tell me about that.
I don't know if it's been so clear cut. I feel like he like kowtowed to Chad for no. I don't know. It didn't make sense.
I was
remember
confused.
the whole thing started. Chad was going to be a silent partner. He didn't decide to really get into the paper until after things blew up with Stephanie. So now all of a sudden he went from I'm going to be a silent partner who doesn't give you any trouble to now he's calling the shots. I don't know that.
I thought I missed something or forgot something.
That's
but maybe not.
No.
Because I thought the same thing, but I was like, I just put it on myself. I was like, oh, I must have forgotten. I must have like been on my phone or something when this conversation happened.
Yeah.
And then the whole interaction with what really was just like, this doesn't track for me when it was Chad, Everett, Xander, Leo. And they were
Victoria.
all licking Leo's ass about his article. Now, fine, he wrote a great article, but you all are acting like he's like fucking genius writer now. He wrote one good article. He's still Lady Whistlebottom Blower, whatever. And he's still a gossip columnist.
You know it's called Lady Whistleblower.
Anyway, it was just the whole scene was just like this. It didn't track for me, and I'm like, okay, we're supposed to believe that they're just all a bunch of buddies now.
Well,
like, these
I
are
think
all people that like did not like each other, and I don't know. I know like relationships can change and all of that. It just didn't seem very authentic. It didn't seem like authentic as a viewer that these characters feel this way about each other. And then there's something else that we'll mention when it's talking about like, Xander seemed awfully concerned about financials this week, not just with them, but with, which we'll talk about later. I can't remember if I put it in with this or not, but so I don't know. That was just something that piqued my attention.
Yeah.
I think that what my feeling is that the Lady Whistleblower column is the most popular column of the Spectator.
Yep.
And maybe it grew even more with his MLK article. And it kind of showed another side of Leo, I would say, as like an excellent writer and not just a gossip columnist.
Yeah.
So
I can feel that. It just didn't. I don't know.
It didn't track because like all of a sudden it's like confetti and yay Leo, oh my god, you're so amazing.
And I was like, are we sure Ron's not writing this stuff? This is supposedly during the strike, but the reason Leo is such a front and center character, we know this because Ron has said how much he loves that character. I was like, wow, Leo's the hero. Okay. But I'll go with it.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go with it, and I do like Leo liking the kiddos and inserting himself into every child's life this week.
He's now everyone's favorite gunkle. For those of you who don't know what a gunkle is, it's a gay uncle. We do tend to bring the fun.
I mean, he is that.
We show up, we spread joy, we spread money, and then we go home.
I didn't mind that quad, and I especially didn't mind, I don't know if it was earlier in the week or it might have been even last week, just the three of them when it was Chad, Everett, and Leo. I didn't mind that either. I know but part of it is like Everett and Leo would have no issue, and I think Chad he's come around to Everett, and I also he's come around to Everett, and I also think there's only so much you can be mad at Leo, but it's like one of those things of like you deal with him and keep it moving. I think he mostly gets amused by Leo, unless Leo is really causing like trouble to him or his family. Yeah. He's like whatever, like Leo's harmless,
Which is a good way to look at Leo in general.
Yeah.
It's a good way of just dealing with him on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
That he's harmless.
That he is harmless until he is harmful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. My roommate's dog is barking for whatever reason.
He doesn't like Leo either.
Apparently not. You guys
Now,
chat among yourselves. I'll be right back.
Okay.
but
Don't
in
hurt the
turning,
dog.
so now we have Chad, but Everett did manage to turn Chad around, luckily, and he got to him. He said, "Okay, all right, you're right. We're not gonna compromise the integrity of paper. Just go with your gut." Everett's gut led him to the police station, where Ava and Stefan are in trouble. And it seems like it's kind of weird how this whole drug storyline took a turn.
You said
And well, it took a turn in terms of like it was like slow building. There was 2 or 3 characters attached to it, and then all of a sudden last week it really ramped up. And now Stephanie is. It seems like what I said. Everybody is in this phrase of "I know, you know."
Yeah.
And I'm going to quote one of my favorite TV shows of all time
Don't
right
know
now.
that we know we know.
I know, you know that I'm not telling the truth. Psych.
Oh, what show was that?
Psych.
Oh, I thought you were
Yes.
gonna do the Friends quote. Where
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
what I thought
they don't
too.
know that we know that they know we know.
Well, that too, but I know you know that I'm not telling the truth is the entire plot line of Psych, one of the greatest TV shows of all time. And you should watch it just for watching Dule Hill tap dance all the time. And snacks, lots and lots of snacks.
What did I miss?
Don't even.
Nothing.
I don't even want to know.
Araceli being right again.
Tony. Go
It
on to
feels-
the next thing.
It feels like another guys. It's not that hard to advertise a movie about candy.
Pretty much.
Yeah, okay. I can concur. That's anyways, yes. So they all know that nobody's telling the truth here. You know, Ava and Stefan are blatantly lying. Everyone knows they're lying. I don't think that, interestingly enough, I don't think a lot of people know that Wendy and Tripp know as much as they do. Because I thought about this week about why isn't Steve getting involved in this? Because if he knew, he tries to stay away from Ava as much as possible.
Yeah.
But I think if he knew that their son was in danger, that
totally,
he would 100% step in. And it kind of does make the question why Ava didn't bring Steve into this to begin with. Yeah. I thought, it took me some time to realize that that's kind of odd because she usually would.
He wasn't available those days.
Well, we've been saying
Schedules
that
didn't align
from the beginning that Clyde wouldn't have this much power, and if he did, he wouldn't have this much power against a Vitali and also a Demira, who have resources at their disposal. Even if they're not like that, they have resources that they can access to do away with people like Clyde. So it's becoming, I mean, it never truly stuck, but I think the performances and getting everyone involved in it sort of pulled it together, but it never fully made more sense. I think it made more sense as like Gabby as a sitting duck. That to me makes more sense. But that just emphasizes the fact that there should have been more of a swift resolve to this.
Yeah. And hold on, we completely skipped over one thing, which was, is that in this? I'm just making sure that that's what we're covering here. Yes, it is. Okay. I'm so disappointed that we're still not getting answers from this Everett thing. I really thought this was the week that Everett was going to be busted.
Busted for what, though? Busted for being
Jada's ex? That's the thing. That's the thing. We don't know for what.
Yeah. We know he's shady. Like, I'm pretty 100% on the side that he's hiding something beyond being Jada's ex. You know what I mean? That's the one thing. Like, and they just won't come face to face. But there's something else. He's either, in this drug thing and is on this side of it, covering for his other side of it, or something. I just, I get zero good feelings about him.
It's
And
weird.
we still don't know what it is.
And it's weird because we're supposedly like now we're all in on like, okay, I think we're all in on Everett being an above board journalist. It seems like he has massive integrity when it comes to yes, we know that doesn't dispel your feelings about him, Michael Mattis, but it seems
it was
that
just fake, and I think it was just fake. I'm like, no, he doesn't really give a anyway.
But it's like we don't know. We don't know what we know. We know there's something shady, but now we need to know.
Yeah.
We got so close this week where Everett finally he saw Jada's there. Jada's in town. Okay, boom, there's a connection. And even Jada gave us like a little more information saying that he was lying and cheating. But even that was like, okay, the story that she told Stephanie. Yes, it was a big red flag, but it was, I don't know, there was something about it that also was like, I feel like there's more to that story too.
Oh,
Just give me all the information.
I thought she was alluding to the ring. Like that was the surprise was the ring.
I mean, it could be, but then I'm like, it's all too vague. It's all too vague, and it's gone on too long. If we don't have answers by Monday, I'm gonna be a very unhappy Araceli next week.
See, I thought we got good.
Peacock's Days of Our Lives 1, Araceli 0.
See, I thought we got
1 weekdays
of information. We finally got the Jada and Stephanie were definitely in Seattle the exact same time. We know that Everett has 2 different names. He has Everett and he has Bobby. Don't know if those names are connected or if it's one of them is completely made up. We do know that Jada said she found a receipt for a ring, which I'm guessing is the inevitable engagement ring that we know he bought for Stephanie towards the end of their relationship. Yeah. So I think we got a lot this week actually regarding that. We just didn't get them to seeing each other face to face, but I think we got a lot of info.
Because Everett walked in and said, nope.
Yeah, I'm saying we didn't get them face to face. Yeah.
Very that. I don't know. But the storyline does have me very curious because I do want to know the history of, because we know that Everett and Stephanie dated until he got hit by a car at the post office.
That allegedly. He said, yeah.
But we don't really know. Well, we just learned this week, like what happened with him and Jada, and there's like cheating that happened and all of that. But like, I want to know more from Jada's side. Like, what was their relationship like? Did something take a turn? Was there, like, there's a lot, and I feel like it's still breadcrumbs, and then when they really get into it, it's going to be very interesting. I think right now we're just storing information because so far,
collecting, and
so far he popped up out of nowhere to follow Stephanie, who thought she got ghosted. Turns out he was in a coma. Then it turns out that he was once upon a time engaged to Jada.
Married.
But we now learned that there was cheating involved. He purchased jewelry. And that's about where we are with that.
I feel like we're in one of Tony's puzzles where we're missing a piece and it's turned into this weird algebra equation. Tony always says, if 1 + 1 = 2 and 2 + 2 = 4. Well, I feel like we're missing, I feel like that equation has turned into like a 1 + 1 + 2 + 3. And we're missing like the 2 and the 3 to add together all of the pieces.
Involved and everything.
Let me ask you guys, do you think we're just missing information that goes along with our theory? Or do you think there's going to be a twist somewhere?
I think we're still too early in the information gathering to pinpoint what truly happened. because there's a lot of speculation. A lot of us don't believe the whole coma thing either. And a lot of us feel very shaky about Everett. So I think maybe there is a key piece or key pieces. But yes, to Araceli's point, we're still trying to figure out what X equals.
And that's the thing, is like, if you're making me do algebra at this point, I'm losing interest.
I like algebra.
I like algebra when I know how to figure it out.
You can
But you're
solve
not
it.
giving.
You can solve the equation.
Yes, you're not giving me the pieces to solve the equation.
They are giving you the pieces. It's just not coming as quick as you want.
No, you're giving me like little pieces. You're missing. If I'm supposed to solve for X, you're not supposed to also add a Y in there.
Well, no one
randomly.
No one said it. Well, Y is in parentheses.
You can tell we did pretty good in school, guys.
I mean, I'm just saying. So all the information that you have so far is enough, and we'll get to X eventually. You just gotta trust the process. 50, 60 decades of soap opera drama, Araceli, and you can't seem to solve for X.
I can trust the process.
You do what's in the parentheses first. You don't.
Yes.
You do the parentheses first. You work inward, outward. Isn't that how?
Put that comment up from Colleen again. That needs to be up longer.
Yeah, you do Y first before you get to X. We ain't got the Y yet. Yeah.
Not where I was going with that.
Yeah, you got to do what's in the parentheses first, and then you can carry on.
Not where I was going with that at all, but okay.
Well, excuse us, Araceli. We're still being sold on a candy film.
Tony excelled at algebra, but he forgot about biology.
I don't really like science. I'm not a science guy. But we're here solving for X, and we haven't gotten to Y. So you just gonna have to wait.
Now, in terms of X and Y and all this stuff, I feel like our other storyline is great in terms of we have all.
What other storyline?
That we should move on to.
Oh, you were trying to transition.
Yes.
Well,
we kind of already a little bit.
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit, but then I realized we forgot something.
Hugs. Oh, look at that. And kisses is in parentheses.
Yeah.
So you start with and kisses before you get to the hugs.
Yes.
Not drugs.
This is X's and O's with some drugs involved. And we have everything we need. This puzzle is completely solved. There are no secrets.
We have everything we need. They don't. Because
as of this week, they do. They have the who, the police.
Yeah, everyone's just playing with each other now.
Yes.
Yeah, all the information is out.
But there is no concrete evidence of the who, what, when, where, why. We are now in a good speculation because Clyde and his bold self literally went to Harris and was like, hypothetically, and then was like, yes, what happened to Lucas was a clear message. I'm like, you got to be a bold bitch to sit there in front of the Salem PD detective and literally say, I'm a part of it. Now go figure it out.
It's also the detective that lost his keys. So,
well, he didn't lose his keys. Ava stole.
Yeah.
I mean, true, but
this is like, I don't know. It's getting a little comical because now we have the police stations onto them. We have Ava and Stefan, their resources. We have the police's resources. We have Trip and Wendy who know. We like everyone. It's like all of you. You're all now fighting Clyde, who's in jail. Like this is where we're at now. It's not Ava and Stefan who should have eliminated Clyde 30 seconds after he threatened them. It's now Trip and Wendy know everything, figured it out because they have a brain. It's now Harris who's figured it out. Now they got confirmation from Clyde. Now Rafe knows. Now Jada knows. Like all of Salem at this point knows what's going on. Like, why are we pretending? And now it's all of Salem versus Clyde. I don't know. It's too much.
Thank you, man lover 32. I don't understand either. How the hell does Clyde have this much power?
That's what we're saying. Yeah.
Like you're giving Stefano
that
DeMiro
equation
vibes.
That equation is off.
That equation does
there's
not
no Y,
compute.
there's no X, there's just Z
There is-
for stupid.
It's just weird that really the way that they're putting off Clyde, it's the equivalent of Stefano.
Yeah.
And
You can't compare, especially with I'm sorry, but Clyde Weston from Timbuktu cannot sit here and outsmart the people of Salem. Y'all ain't
where is he from?
Timbuktu.
No, but where's the actual?
I don't remember.
Like on the Goonies.
Oh, I don't know.
No, but where were he and what's her face from?
Tammy Sue.
Where was the place? Where were they from? Because it just sounded so
I think somewhere in the Ozarks. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Like the actual name of the town, it just sounded so like.
Yeah, I don't remember, but it was it was a very.
But I said last week, there's no way this tracks that this dude from Bumblescum, Arkansas, can do Stefano level shit from behind bars. It does not track. With Stefano, yes, it would track because it was just like it. Yeah, doesn't track.
Yeah, and none of y'all can take it. It hasn't made sense since the beginning when somehow not popular bluff. That wasn't that Designing Women?
I don't remember something. It might have been something that or something bluff.
But it hasn't made sense since the beginning because Clyde originally wanted EJ to do this and was going to use Susan as the collateral. When that fell apart, he then went to Ava and did the thing with Tripp, and I'm just like, so Ava, who came from a mafia background, can't do anything about Clyde.
Yeah,
you just gonna have to give in, and he is sitting behind bars orchestrating this whole thing.
Can't you just put him in solitary and eliminate his community when his whole drug operation just folded? And
right, just put him in solitary.
It's just so crazy. But I hope that the pieces of the puzzle come together. I do feel like there are moments of weakness with Ava. I think she wants out. She never wanted in, obviously, but she definitely wants out.
Yeah.
And every time I feel like she's so close to telling Harris, all of a sudden something happens. Like you just hear, he tried to put his hands on me.
That was random. Okay, so two things. I feel like there's just all these things of, like I said, I know I'm not telling the truth, but then at least say the quiet parts out loud. Like people are wondering why Clyde's so dangerous, and I'm like, well, I could give you an answer. I don't know. I don't know the answer to how he gained this much power. I have the answer for why he's so dangerous. It's because, and so bold, it's because he has been convicted for murder. He's in the pen for life. So what has he got to lose? What can you possibly threaten him with that he's not already facing when he's already in prison for life? So that's one. The other thing is that, and in regards to Ava slapping the heck out of Harris, that on her part was actually pretty smart.
Oh yeah,
because it allows it. If this case goes to trial, she can just say that she can just challenge the prosecution's case by saying that their star detective has romantic feelings for the defendant, and in lies, it all falls apart.
Yeah, it was a total like get out of jail free card at that moment to like because she felt herself starting to cave and it was like I need to stop this. So yeah, create a diversion basically is what she did.
Well, didn't Lucas try to create a diversion too? You guys get out of here. I'm not gonna do that. You're crazy. Let's get out of here. You get
And it
out
was
of
too
here.
much.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then he went and go talk to Doris, the lunch lady, and got
And
shanked.
everybody else.
So, yes,
Poor Doris.
shanked by Doris, or because of Doris.
The only thing you should have asked Doris was for an extra helping of mashed potatoes. That's it.
Ugh.
I don't know. This is very the whole thing is very, and now Sloan is now representing Ava and Stefan. Like, when did that phone call happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was actually the least surprising thing about this whole thing.
I know. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, yeah. She needs something to do. Fine.
Yeah, she needs some. Hey, she needs the money.
Oh yeah, she does need money.
Well, to support Leo's lifestyle.
Yes,
But like at no point before now did they think to pull the prison records to see who visited Clyde.
I know. Yeah.
And I love. Go ahead.
I was gonna say you could tell they just Ava called Sloan like 5 minutes after they got there because when she's sitting there, you could see Sloan literally roll her eyes and like, damn, what did I get myself into when they pulled out that prison log?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh, here we go again. I have these damn clients who don't tell me the truth, and I'm sitting here looking stupid once again.
And then it was like, well, how do you explain that? And it's like, well, and I'm like, okay, she's kind of on a roll, but then Rafe and Harris are looking at her like, I ain't buying it.
Mm-hmm.
And the shade of it all, those are your two exes.
I know, yeah.
How your two ex-boyfriends interrogate you? Girl. Anyway. Well, we shall see what happens with that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, those were your top storylines, and we're going to head into our tidbits. But before we do, just a gentle reminder, make sure you follow us on all social media platforms, Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you hadn't hit the subscribe button, all 180 of you who are sitting in this room right now, go ahead and do so. That would be a good thing. Also, we are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. In case you don't want to watch us and look at our pretty faces, you can take us along on a car journey. So go and find us, Dishin Days, on your favorite podcast station. Also, make sure you buy some merch. There's merch available. DishinDays.threadless.com. Make sure you go do that. And also go show some love to James Lott Jr. On his YouTube channel and podcast station, JLJ Media, because he is the only person that sat with Ben Franklin when he invented electricity. He had a kite too. Y'all didn't know that? He did. Also, you guys who want to celebrate with us on our 9th anniversary for our virtual event, the time is now. Our email is still open. You can get your tickets for $10 if you email us during this live broadcast or if you watch later, and you must pay the $10 before tomorrow, Monday, January 29th at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have already emailed us and received details, but you have not made a payment, email us again, and then you can get the deal. If you already paid, thank you.
Yeah.
See you Saturday.
February 10th. Bring your mocktail, cocktails, and mimosas. We're bringing peach vodka for Michael. All right, let's head into our tidbits. And we're going to start with our first one, which is Answer Schmancer. Is that how I was supposed to say it, Michael?
Yes.
Yeah, like Fran.
Good gesture.
Cancer schmancer.
Got it. Well, Paulina has thyroid cancer.
Did I miss something? Like the reveal was kind of muddled.
Yeah, it was.
The diagnosis reveal.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to hire another actor to play the doctor.
Oh, well, they tap dance around it.
Mm-hmm.
And then
And
finally,
it was like Chanel
it
that
just
finally
mentioned.
said like everything to Sarah. And I was like, oh, that was an interesting way to kind of reveal what's been going on and why she's been coughing and everything. And I don't know. I would have liked to have seen in the like, you know, them reveal it to Paulina.
I think because
Bugs me.
they sort of telegraphed this from the beginning, so I feel like maybe they thought like, let's just move on or let's just skip that part. I don't know, but
because it's always been a suspicion that
yeah,
it was cancer, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually like that they're using. I would I know some people complain about soaps being educational and going into, you know, boring detail and stuff, but I would rather a storyline, even if it was quick, about somebody getting a diagnosis of some kind and then the information actually being correct than some prolonged rare disease that nobody names, that everybody is all in a tizzy about, and then some, you know, then magically they're cured.
You mean like Jungle Madness that could be cured by
Well,
an
the
orchid?
jungle. Well, here's the thing about that. Here's the thing about that. That storyline was an umbrella storyline, so that's different. When you can turn it into an umbrella storyline, the way that they did this time last year with Marlena and Kate and Kayla, I thought that was brilliantly done because they had, first of all, they had a name for it. They had a name for the flower, you know, they had, you know, yes, it was far-fetched. You had the flower and the cure and, you know, death and then the, you know, and the women being in like pods and things like that. Yes, it was far-fetched, but it was an umbrella storyline. So I can get on board with that. But there are other shows, which I will not name.
Excuse me.
who have done, who have attempted to do, serious storylines like that, where they either don't name the disease or they prolong it and then don't show the side effects realistically. And I'm like, you just said this person has a serious illness and they're walking around, they're going to parties, and I'm like, what the hell is this? In this case with Paulina, I don't know how long they're going to go with this, if they're going to make it, prolong it, or shorten it. As she said, that the doctor is now not putting her on her calendar for a few months. As this happens, you know, this storyline could go a couple of different ways. It could go, you know, we're gonna talk about how, you know, women of color are put off in their illnesses. We can talk about, you know, how people are, you know, they think that, you know, if it's a treatable cancer that, you know, can prolong it. There's a couple different ways they could go with this storyline, or they could, you know, have an opening next week and they cut it out and Paulina just has to go with medications. And I'm okay with that. Well, I'd probably be less okay with it, but I'm still okay with it as long as they at least say facts.
Ooh, well, you found your way to why eventually.
Just say facts. And I'm like, it's like, basically that's all long-winded way to say that whole conversation with Sarah, where she was answering Paulina's questions, was like, that was probably the true of all the stuff that happened this week. That conversation just rang so true to me.
Thank you.
Unlike Araceli, who was long-winded, Sarah got to the point.
I feel like this storyline is for something else.
You think it's leading into something else?
Annette said it. I think this is really culminating in Abe. I don't think this is about a cancer storyline for Paulina. I don't understand. Like, usually when people do storyline or soaps do storylines like this, it's usually the person going through the journey. And it seems like they set up that she has this condition. They made it a point to say that it's benign, so it's not spreading. The operation's happening in a couple months. She has medication that'll sustain her. She doesn't have to have chemo. It's like, okay, like what was this for then? But I don't know. Unless the surgery or operation in a couple months is going to be a thing. I feel like this is this is a way for them to get her and Abe together, or Abe to get his memory back somehow through this journey. I don't see it being a Paulina cancer storyline with the way they set this up. I think it's ultimately an Abe gets his memory back storyline.
They were basically like, it's thyroid cancer, but you'll be okay.
Yeah, and that was
You'll be okay. Yeah. You'll be okay if you address it, which is why I was like, I suspect that they're gonna bring Sarah more into this, and she's gonna be playing more of an advocate for Paulina.
Well, after she was approached by
Chanel,
and the way that she gave the information to Paulina just felt comfortable with Sarah being her doctor, rather than, she felt like the other doctor was just kind of like, you got thyroid cancer here, bye. So she wanted someone that maybe she just felt like would care a little bit more and could give the information a little bit better. Also, it's not in the budget to buy another doctor. So.
Yeah.
Listen, we're just lucky Kayla wasn't now an oncologist. Like, she does everything else.
Yeah, she does everything. We don't know where the story is going. I would fully be on board with Sarah wants to change her specialty storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that conversation with Xander and what her conversation with Paulina makes her take that route.
I'm fully supportive of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All these ways. I don't see a negative in this storyline. I feel like it's just being done very smart. So, kudos to everybody involved. And yes, somebody did mention, yes, Lindsay Godfrey herself is a cancer survivor. She was diagnosed very, very, very young. And I think she recently posted that she celebrated like a milestone cancer-free thing. I have to go back and look that up, but yeah, she's been cancer free for like at least a decade now. So yeah, good on her.
And congratulations to Johnny and Chanel.
Yay!
She also got an upgraded. Oh boy!
Remember when I said earlier that
Araceli
is always right? You know what? But this is so superficial. No, this is so superficial. Araceli is always right about jewelry.
In what way?
Okay, go ahead.
That it can't just be a big rock. It has to have some level of thought or sentimentality behind it.
When did you say this?
I didn't say this. This is what I'm saying. I haven't said this previously. This is what I'm saying right now.
So how are you deeming yourself right on something that you haven't said yet?
Because I'm saying I'm right now, and I guarantee you that every single wedding planner would agree with me. Johnny did good with that ring.
That's all you had to say.
It was big.
Michael's
had sentimentality with the Venetian glass. If nothing else, if Chanel walks down the aisle with a simple dress, with an off the rack dress, whatever, that ring will still be the winner.
Okay, this was them like kind of tongue-in-cheek with the wedding ring. First of all, the Liz Taylor Richard Burton thing has been used in every soap opera uses the Liz Taylor. Yes, that is like lore.
Yes, the woman wore a lot of jewelry, and yes, she and Richard Burton were in and out together several times.
Yeah, they use it for soap opera. Oh, lots of soap operas use it. Empire uses it. Movies use it.
Fingers.
Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez had it. Like, this is, that's like lore.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
The Venetian glass thing was totally like tongue-in-cheek to show how. Oh, okay.
What happened?
That sound was.
Okay.
Who made the sound?
Me.
Michael Madden?
Oh, I thought I did. I did too.
Yeah, no, it was Michael Myers.
Who did a deep sigh? Go ahead, Justin. You speak.
Let's just move on.
You say what it is that you want to say.
I'm done. It's lost its vigor. It wasn't that. Yeah.
Tony Moore, you tell me that when you eventually get proposed to, you don't want something that is glitzy and glamorous, but is special as well.
I will take something special and sentimental. It doesn't have to be big and flashy.
No, I didn't say it has to be big and flashy. I said it.
Did you just say glitz and No.
I said glitz. I didn't say.
I want you to go
in the world
at 4:26 p.m. Pacific Standard Time in an hour and 20 seconds into this. I want you to go back and listen to you say you wouldn't want something glitz and like when I get proposed to.
It has to. Well, what I'm saying is that it can't. Whatever you propose to someone, it can't just be big. In terms of ring size is not the most important thing.
I feel like it's now appropriate to go into our next tidbit, which is headshots and headaches.
Aw, do you have a
Leo being
headache,
the
boys?
I think whatever you have in your glass is starting to take full effect. Full effect. But back to the ring for 2 seconds. No, I want something very simple. That's it. Okay. As long as it's from the heart. That person just needs to know who I am in order to purchase a ring. Mm-hmm. Leo, Sloan, and Eric. Well, yay for Eric's first client being Leo. I would have thought there was going to be a costume change before he started taking photos, or maybe a dab of makeup or something before he sat down. But he didn't need he didn't need any of that. And really, I just feel like he went over there to torture Sloan.
Yeah.
Yep. And I also feel like she paid for the photo shoot.
I was just gonna say that money just went right back into their pocket. It just it went to Leo and back to them. Yeah.
It was a wash.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
I tried to look at the camera. I tried to look at the camera to see if because it looked like they were actually using the camera and it was on and it wasn't just it's like
a flash,
an effect.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to look at it. It looks like he was just taking. The camera wasn't actually angled, and I'm sure for on the show it looked like it was angled at Leo, but I was like, that's a picture of the wall. I just thought that was funny.
Well, we'll find out when the proofs come back.
Oh yeah, he likes to put together a portfolio. I'm the same way. Like, y'all don't need to look at your photos right now. You'll see them, Tony Moore. You will see them soon.
So to that, I get what Leo is saying. Like, you want to look at them because maybe you're like, oh, maybe if I just turn this way or something, that I can get a better photo. If I don't see nothing, then how am I supposed to know to correct something? Suddenly, now I'm back at the house.
Will tell you.
What if the photographer don't?
The photographer will tell you. Then you look fine.
Well, listen, I mean, I have no problems in front of the camera. However, come on. I do feel like, because sometimes, a photographer can have an eye, but then of course we know ourselves and our angles. So you don't want to get home 2 days later and get this proof, and you're like,
that's the wall.
Yeah, or oh, he didn't. Because okay, I'll say this. So in my short film, Kevin, I wish I had watched a particular scene back because my shirt was not like, if I just did a tug of my shirt, it wouldn't have had like this crease across it. And I wish I would have seen that, because now every time I watch the film, I see the crease. And I wish someone would have said, hey, Tony. And I would have went, oh, but no one did. But if I saw it, I would have said, so there we go.
Yeah,
School photos are a mess. Because those photographers, first of all, you sit there like this, and then they go, tilt your head a little bit. Now, put your hand underneath your chin. Now look up to the sky. Who wants that photo?
No one. No one. And for anybody who thinks that Tony Moore is just being a little particular, I will say this. It's that all of us who have experience with photography and in film and things like that, you notice things like that because you don't notice when things are okay. But when something is off, you notice it immediately. And I'm saying this to the average person who is not an LA person and doesn't know these things. You're going to notice if something is wrong. So it's all those people who make the photography and the film and things like that to notice it first.
You know, there's a lesson in here somewhere. Oh my God, I sounded like Teo. All right, well, they did mention again Sloan being very sorry about the interaction with Marlena and John.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like Marlena is forgiving, but also very much like, does she drink like that all the time? And
yeah, they're still concerned about her having a drinking problem. Like,
yeah,
she was nervous. The alcohol hit her wrong.
As they talk to their alcoholic son, the one who's an actual alcoholic, yes.
The one who killed someone.
Because he was drunk.
Yeah.
And they're worried about Sloan in her apartment getting tipsy.
Having some wine.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, let's move on to I think this is our last tidbit.
No,
which
two
is
more.
We have two more. Then we need to go through this.
I mean,
quickly.
this one can be quick because we've already kind of talked about it a little bit.
Keep my bank account out your mouth.
So this is what, going back to Xander and the Spectator, we saw him going over the financials. We saw him in the office kind of nitpicking expenses. Then he talks to Sarah about getting, why don't you ask for a raise? You should be making, maybe you should be making more money, kind of subtly being, and his, rationale for that was, because you're the greatest doctor, you do so much, you deserve so much more, making it about her and what she deserves. But this is Xander, and we know, like, okay, so is the paper not doing as well as he would want? Is he not going to be bringing in as much money? And then he gets the phone call from somebody about needing someone taken out.
Well, I took it more so as like, not that he's not making enough money, because obviously he's been doing fine. I think it's more so.
Is he though? Like, do we know he's doing fine? He's saying he's doing fine, but
they're probably doing fine.
But I took it as like Sarah getting maybe what she deserves. Yeah. Like maybe she's just like on a low end, and maybe it should be higher. I don't know. The phone call came in, and I was just like, "Please, like, let's not do this."
Well, let's not do this all over again.
Yeah.
No, before getting to the phone call, I actually thought for once his talk about money was valid because he's going about it in a responsible way. He's not going behind her back. He's not, saying we need to be rich. I thought he made actual valid points.
He made valid point. I'm not saying he didn't make valid points. I'm just saying his intentions with it weren't what he presented them to be. I think he's having a problem with money, and that was his way of trying to convince Sarah to maybe bring in more, because he knows he's not. Maybe something's wrong, maybe something's wrong, like financially with the paper that we don't know yet, that he knows, because he did look kind of stressed when he was going over those, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, arguably, arguably it could be stressful, but I tend to lean more towards, and I think how he responds to the phone call will give us the answer next week. I think that it's more that they're doing just fine when they could probably be doing better.
So, but we'll see. I think
we'll get our answer.
Something we don't. I don't think he's comfortable for whatever reason financially, and that's what that's what brought on the conversation with Sarah.
Well, let's put a pin in it for right now.
Yeah, I didn't think.
Go ahead.
I didn't think that it was. I thought that they had established that the paper's in sort of recovery mode, and that's why the stuff with like Leo and like really getting down to like journalism is supposed to like bring back the paper to its glory. So I didn't think anything of that. I just thought that was Xander being a good boss with looking at it and being like, hey, aren't we spending a lot of money here? I didn't take it as anything else. I thought the conversation with Sarah was I like you are saying, I thought it was like mature, but I was also kind of like, oh, that was an interesting conversation for them to have. People on soaps usually don't have like a conversation like that unless it's spurred on by something until the end when he got the phone call. And then I thought, oh, that's the reason why, because we're now going backwards to where we started with Xander and Sarah and the end of their marriage about money. And now someone's calling him to do something about, that's how I took it.
Yeah, and while every financial advisor will tell a married couple that they need to be comfortable having conversations about money, these two in particular really need to be comfortable having conversations about money.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get an answer to that next week, but we're going to move on to some Pawn Patrol Continued.
We still don't have
we gonna pray for
any
Maggie.
answers.
We gonna pray for Maggie. Because she just does not believe Steve when Steve is right on the money. Did we? Oh man, I'm freezing.
It's okay.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll say this really quick and then I'll restart. Did she forget that he lied about the thing from buying the tablecloth from Saxon? Did she forget that?
And lied and lied and lied.
Yeah. So it's like at some point you're gonna have to like pay attention. With that, talk among yourselves. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Yeah, this made Maggie look really bad. I thought that it was going to be, I thought that we were going to get not a reveal, but it was going to be something like she said something to Steve, like we saw her wheels turning or something like that, or we were going to get a conversation with her and Steve that said like, I'm keeping an eye on him, don't worry, or I'm like, I don't know. I feel like the past few weeks they made a point to show that, I would say before Christmas, they were making a point to show that she was like, keeping him at arm's length a bit and like putting some distance between him. And I thought like, oh, that's like, that makes sense where she might like this guy or think he's a good guy, but also like things aren't adding up here. Let me take a step back. And I feel like since Christmas, they've completely sort of done away with that.
Gone backwards. Yeah.
And she's like going against Steve and everyone else. It was like, I don't know. It was like, Maggie, come on. I feel like we just got over this hump with Maggie and like the Titan business stuff. And now we're put in this situation where it's like, she's just not coming off likable. And it doesn't make sense for someone who was married. Like she keeps bringing up Victor, which that was a completely different situation than Konstantin. But also, like, wouldn't you have learned something from Victor? Wouldn't you be more astute? Wouldn't you be more on the lookout for stuff like this?
She knew Victor for years. They lived in the same town for decades.
Exactly.
There was no mystery there.
No.
She knew him good and bad.
Yeah. And I don't like that she brought up Steve's past, which made no sense. It was like,
no.
He's not. Steve isn't saying Konstantin was bad 30 years ago. He's saying he's bad now. He's conning you right now. Not that he did some shady stuff a decade ago, and you should, stay away from the bad guy. It's like no.
It's this storyline. I continue to despise this storyline more and more. And especially this week for how it's tailored to make Maggie look like a fool that she isn't.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, she back.
We hate it. We don't want it. More of it.
Well,
we don't like it. We don't want more of it.
No.
But I will
we don't
say
like
that
it. We don't love it. We don't want more of it.
I feel like there's something very, like I said last week, there's something very interesting about this storyline that's about to happen, and it's going to involve Steve. And I think, and this week I was like, you know what? I think it's going to put Steve and John's friendship to the test, because I think there's something that Steve remembers, but John doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Because-
And
get to
John's
a
starting to have like nightmares and what he's starting to, something's coming up in his subconscious. The way he like karate chopped, almost karate chopped Marlena.
I will say that for a couple that's been together for as long as they have, it takes a lot to surprise each other after all that time.
Marlena
That
was-
sure did it.
But Marlena was not surprised. Did you see the way
No,
Marlena
she was just like,
she just stood there like,
and then told him to go get a comb.
I know.
she said,
Shady.
maybe a comb should meet that hair of yours. Gotta go, bye. All right. Well, hopefully more next week with this storyline. And that has been your week of days. And now it is time for our favorite part of the show, which are our segments. And we're going to start with mine, which is Tony's official 3 Snaps Award.
Oh, snap!
Now, listen, this is a way to remind people that you are in control and you have all the cards. And watch what you do, because I'm not going to watch what I say. Hit it.
Great chatting with you, Sloan, as always. You know, it lifts my spirits knowing that precious little boy who's not really yours. There I go, fumbling my words. That precious little boy who is lucky to be yours is thriving.
So, Leo Stark, for reminding Sloan, I got your number, hussy. You get Tony's official 3 Snaps Award.
Oh, snap!
That's right.
As Eric continues to flash and take pictures.
And Eric did
You're
not
right,
pick
Tony.
up
He
on
does need to
anything.
show him. He does need to show him proof.
Yeah, because he's just over there.
Can we give a snap to Sloane's whip? Because it takes a lot of skill to whip that fast.
No, it don't. When somebody's about to spill your tea, you are very much going to be like, if Michael Mattis was here that weekend, he would have went. And now it's time for
Caption that!
Oh wait, before we get
Alright.
into the caption,
Yes.
I meant to also give an honorable mention to Everett for Chad telling him to do what he has to do, and he came back in and he was like, "I'm almost done." Oh, you almost done with the article? No, my resignation. I said, "Oh,
Drama queen.
not at the office. Write your resignation letter."
Drama queen. Get over it. Ugh. Okay, this week's caption, that photo, comes courtesy of Stefan and Ava in their 0-star bistro. And this week's caption goes to Tamelanod25, Tam, Liz, Ann O'Driscoll, who's won the caption that before, with her caption of, "Yes, Gabby, Stefan has a ridiculous mustache, but I will look after his needs."
I like the mustache.
I dislike it, which is why I chose that caption, because it looks mustaches just aren't my thing in general, so
It's okay.
doesn't suit men well.
It depends how thick it is.
Hmm.
It's
No,
like,
they just don't suit men well.
yeah.
It worked for Burt Reynolds.
I'm telling you right
Oh, here
now.
we go. Thank you. Okay.
You've told us a lot.
The mustache was not what was working for Burt Reynolds. If you ever seen the famous spread that he
He's
did,
talking about his dick.
the mustache was not it.
And that was
Oh God. Show.
Caption that.
And now it's time for
Those were the days.
All right. Taking you back to January. If we still have your attention, I'm taking you back to January 22nd, 1993, where we had the lovely, amazingly talented Allison Sweeney come to the show as Sammy Brady, which should have been a tip-off for what was yet to come, sort of sneaking into Roman's house in a hoodie and sweatpants, who we thought was some really vagabond, I guess, trying to break in. But yeah, that should have been a clue of what was to come with Sammy. But yes, yeah, and Allison Sweeney is still around, popping in here and there. Hopefully she is back soon. But yeah, a long career, becoming sort of the heroine and main character of Days for a very, very long time. But yeah, 1993, January 22nd, when Allison Sweeney premiered as Sammy Brady.
and those
Those were the days.
and now it's time for
It's a gift.
This week's
Is it a
It's
Burt
Gift-
Reynolds?
No. This week's It's a Gift. Just look up Burt Reynolds and Tiger and you'll know what I'm talking about.
well, listen, this whole show, I think we've been trying to figure out what you're talking about. We'll be adding to the list.
If Michael Madison has never seen this, I don't understand how you're a photographer.
Okay.
What's the gift?
The this week's gift goes to Ava and Stefan, clinking to what I'm an undry January, and I'm right there with you.
Honey, ain't nothing in there dry. There was no dry January, pot of you. And that was
It's a gift.
Michael Madison. She's talking about the famous Burt Reynolds centerfold where he's like,
I know what she's
weighing-
talking about. I've
Oh,
never
okay.
seen it. I
I
know what
don't.
she's talking about.
Oh, see, Michael Madison knows. He's that kind of gay.
Of course, I've seen it.
He done seen it. What's next?
News and gossip.
Oh, God.
I don't know how
So-
we're gonna get through the rest of this show.
So if you like what you've seen so far, you can get a condensed version of that when we do our Dishin Days.
Come to our uncensored happy hour.
Yes,
Uncensored, unfiltered.
Of the show you just sat through. Yeah, trying to figure out why you're at this channel. But the 9th anniversary of Dishin Days, we are celebrating with a happy hour. Come join us. Cocktails, mocktails. We are going to do a Q&A with the hosts, games, giveaways, and more. We have a new date. It is Saturday, February 10th, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern. And we are now running a special, a $10 deal if you if you email us at dishindays@gmail.com. If you email us during the show, and all running to Monday, January 29th at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, and you have to pay by this time. So if you are watching now and want to join us, we are having, again, $10 special. You have to have paid by the 29th, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Come and join us. It'll be fun. It'll be
Clearly.
yeah. So, yeah.
And before we get to the next part, Mama Moore has said that she is back on, and she either missed everything or nothing at all.
She didn't miss much. What's next?
Next up, we have an anniversary to celebrate. Drake Hogestyn has celebrated his 38th anniversary with Days of Our Lives, and his co-star, who originally brought him to the show, Stephen Nichols, his character brought him to the show, has wished him a great congratulations with the caption from the Pawn to Roman to Forrest to John Black. Congratulations. And yes, we as well wish our congratulations to Drake, who celebrates 38 years with the show. and I think somebody did an episode count that he's supposed to have like a certain number of episodes coming up until he's like the most featured male character on the show in terms of episode count. You can look that up separately.
Cool. Next up, we want to give some prayers and well wishes. We've been sort of chronicling the journey of Jordi Villasusa and his wife Caitlin. They did have their baby, and unfortunately, baby Lucy's suffering from RSV and has had a little trouble breathing this week. So she is actually in the NICU. So we are asking, as well as them, for prayers, good wishes, healing vibes. Just send it their way. Those, like we said, we've been chronicling their journey with fertility, and this is Lucy's actually their rainbow baby. So we just assume that everything will work out, and when it does work out, we will definitely update you. But sending prayers, good wishes, healing, all of that to them as they deal with this. So yeah,
hang in there, Mama and Papa.
Many blessings to them. I really, you guys really just take a moment and just send all the love and energy and positivity. They have been so gracious in sharing their journey with us. They've, gone through a miscarriage, and now they're at their rainbow baby. And so we just want to just send so much love and light and life to this little one. So sending our prayers to you guys.
All right. Next up, we have some upcoming dates. This will be for the Samantha's Friends events. The first would be Enchantment Under the Sea. This will take place the weekend Saturday, May 4th and Sunday, May 5th. And then coming up a little later in the year in September with the theme of the Golden Age of Hollywood, which will be the weekend of Saturday, September 14th through Sunday, September 15th. If you would like your tickets and information, please go to samanthasfriends.org. All of these events are in Florida. So for those of you not in the state, there will require some travel. But as you can see, we have a plethora of day stars and other daytime stars going to this event. So get your tickets and info at samanthasfriends.org.
Yeah, next up we have a concert headlined by Eric Mozart. Eric Mozart rocks Montreal with an acoustic set by Carson Boatman. We have Carl Lauder, Peter Porte, Remington Hoffman, Brian.
Who?
Huh?
Did you say Carl?
Carson.
I thought I said Carson.
Oh, he said Carson.
It's not like you said Carl Lauder.
Kyle.
Maybe Kyle Lauder, Peter Porte, right? Hoffman, maybe. It's that kind of show, I guess. Brian Datillo and Gilles Marini. Since happening June 1st of this year, Montreal, Canada, at the Montreal Airport Area Hotel. So get your tickets, all tickets and information. You can go to Eventbrite at Star Image Entertainment. So go check that one out.
Mm-hmm. And there have been increased dates for the day players. The day players have added more dates. This is going from February through September of this year, covering the Midwest through the greater East Coast. So if you're any of those areas, please check for tickets and information at thedayplayersband.com. It's a great show. Two of these guys are new papas, so they're taking some time out of their infant stages to go on the road. So hit up these guys if they happen to hit a city near you.
Y'all didn't want to mention the dates, the new dates in the city?
There's a lot of dates. I can't.
Yeah, we want to make things quick, so.
Yeah.
Well, where did they go to find it?
The dayplayersband.com. I said that.
Dayplayersband.com.
I said that.
Okay. Oh, snap! And that was
News and gossip.
And now it's time to find out what's coming up this week on Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera Days of Our Lives. Here's a sneak peek.
He knows about the pawn.
What?
This winter,
I have cancer?
I smell
trouble.
It's time.
What the hell?
No one can find out.
I am so sorry that I hurt you.
To turn up.
I have a hell of a story to tell you. If you really love Chanel, keep her as far away from you as possible.
The heat.
I don't think I've ever seen a woman with as little sex appeal as you.
days of our lives.
Ooh, things really are heating up in Salem. It's
Interesting.
getting hot in here. And everybody's taking all their clothes. All right. Well, I think you guys have had enough of us. That has been our show. And before we head out, Michael Mattis, where can the folks find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at MLMattis.
Justin Lee Harrell, where can they find you?
Do I want them to? Find me on Instagram at Justin Lee Harold.
Yes, you do,
Like, don't come to
Justin.
me.
Maybe they'll let you know what y and x equals. Araceli, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Tia323 Araceli.
With a
And of
bottle of
course,
rosé.
the whole bottle. And you guys make sure you can find me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony, and you can see us on Dishin Days show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be back next week with another hilarious, funny, long-winded show right here, Dishin Days. Have a safe and wonderful week, everybody. Bye.
Bye.